Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to Deadsville Horror Talk. I'm your host, Ronin James, and to my left, the lovely Steph Infection.
Hi, Scream Hearts.
Today we are going to discuss and review the new movie on Amazon Prime, Totally Killer. And this one is streaming now. It is rated... Oh, doesn't have the rating.
Oh man, it's R.
It's a rated R. Rated R streaming now.
I know he's gonna ask me.
Yes.
Okay, yes, rated R.
And
Right for all the blood.
yes, there was quite a bit of blood. We won't get into that stuff just yet. Before we get into that, we will give you a bit about us. I'm Deadsville director Ronin James. I direct Deadsville Rock and Roll Mysteries. I direct Dickie Devil and the Deviants music videos and the creator of the world of Deadsville and all that good stuff there. I also work as a stunt coordinator and stuntman for 20 years before I got into the directing side of things. And yeah, you've seen me die in stuff like... Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and you've seen me die in, oh man, I've died in a bunch of stuff, but I've been double on Gotham, The Tick, I've been a cop, I've been a thug, I've been a white supremacist a bunch of times. They love that one.
The Tick scene's my favorite. You get whacked.
Yeah. She likes the scenes where I get whacked. So, yeah, you can follow my exploits under the name Jay Green on IMDb. And, yeah, we have some other things in the works. I just wrapped a couple things, so you'll be seeing a horror movie that I worked on. We'll be talking with the director and writer soon, Stalked, which was a lot of fun. But, yeah, that's what I do. And my partner, the lovely Steph Infection.
Co-owner also.
Co-owner. Well, that's what I mean by partner. What do you think I mean by partner? I mean, yes.
Not just in the podcast, I meant Deadsville.
Yes. Partner in Deadsville Productions. Yes, that's what I say. Partner, that's what I mean. My Deadsville partner, Steph Infection, who helps make all this stuff happen. If it was not for her, we wouldn't be here right now, because I'm a mess.
Oh, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
She helps keep the ship afloat. So she keeps the ship afloat, because I would sink the ship if it was just me.
Oh.
So,
well, thank you.
She is a producer, actress, dance choreographer, fear leader, promoter, I don't know, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, unless the hats are never ending.
Yep.
Whatever hat you throw to me.
We're about to go into another production for a music video for Dickie Devil and the Deviants, Oh My Goth.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun one. It's got a nice nostalgia theme, so...
Very excited.
Stay tuned for that one, as... the undead Daddy-O likes to say.
Yes, he does.
But, all right, enough of that. Let's move on. Well, we have to give our call to action.
Oh, here we go.
Email address.
DeadsvilleHorrorTalk@gmail.com. Subject, mailbag.
Mailbag. There it is. You can email us. You can always comment on the Facebook page or the Instagram page or the YouTube page or the Rumble page.
Rumble!
And make sure you are following us and liking and subscribing and hitting the bell and getting notifications for all that good stuff, because not only do we do this podcast every week, we have our hand in a bunch of different things. And you also get to see some behind-the-scenes videos from some stunt work that we've done recently.
Very cool.
Some of the training stuff and the prepping for some scenes that we did on Stalked. And yeah, check out all of our social medias and follow for the latest from Deadsville. All right. Now we can get to our first takes.
Yeah.
And our first takes are going to include the writer, director, the cast, a little bit of what we thought of everything, with no spoilers.
None whatsoever.
Spoiler free. I'm going to try my best.
Well,
I promise.
Maybe we'll have to mute you sometimes.
This isn't live, so I can always edit it out if I mess up and give a spoiler. But we will do our first takes, and we might cut that out separately and make it a separate little shorter show you can watch before you dig into this one, and we pull out the shovels and dig deeper with our spoilery review after.
Yeah.
So, that being said, first takes! Here we are in first takes, folks.
Bleeding.
We are going to, spoiler-free, give you our first impressions of this one. So, Steph Infection, get to it and read that synopsis.
All right. When the infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back in time to 1987, determined to stop the killer before he can start.
All right. And
Finally, a decent synopsis.
Decent synopsis on IMDb. That one actually does sum it up pretty well.
In just a couple of sentences.
Yeah. So, Totally Killer is a 2023 American black comedy slasher film directed by Nahnatchka Khan from a screenplay by David Madelon, Sasha Pearl Raver, and Jen D'Angelo, and a screen story by Madelon and Pearl Raver. Produced by Jason Blum under his Blumhouse Television banner, and Adam Hendricks and Greg Gilbraith under their Divide and Conquer banner. It stars Kiernan Shipka, Olivia Holt, and Julie Bowen. The story follows Jamie, who, after her mother's friends are murdered by the Sweet 16 killer, like Steph says, travels back in time, where she pairs up with her mother to stop the young would-be killer and return to her timeline before she's trapped in the past forever.
Seems a little familiar.
It does seem very familiar. I feel like we've seen this, a combination of these things in many things. So right off the bat, huge Back to the Future vibes.
Yes.
And they say it right in the like.
Oh, multiple times, yeah.
They reference Back to the Future. This movie is like Back to the Future meets Scream in so many ways.
And like Scary Movie,
Scary
like
movie,
like kind of like the funniness behind
the comedy behind it is
it's
excellent. Oh my God, I laughed so much.
Yeah.
I laughed so much. It's such great social commentary, like satire.
Yeah.
Just like it's a very good setup. It's very, very cool the way she's like a modern day teen, and she goes back to the 80s, and the 80s are just super problematic.
Oh, yes. So not PC in the way that they spoke.
Everything. It's so great. And it's so hilarious. It makes for such a, it's ripe for the comedic pickings, and the writers do an awesome job on this one. I mean, so much funny stuff in here.
And I think that that's what kind of makes this movie its own, because a lot of people are comparing it to like Final Girls. She goes back in time with her mother. Whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just, they're both great movies, but this is just the comedy.
Yeah, it's a different movie. Final Girls, she doesn't go back in time; she goes into the movie.
Or that's
like,
yeah.
That's like,
But
that's what everybody's comparing this to, and I get it. Even like the director of Final Girls came out and said, like, "Oh, I made this movie already."
Yeah, but it's
different.
Totally
there are definite differences, and Final Girls comedy. While it did kind of play off a little bit of that, the main character in Final Girls wasn't like calling out all of the woke PC incorrectness of the times. So this definitely plays differently than Final Girls did.
And it's so obvious with the nods to all the 80s movies. Yeah. Like it made it an entire experience. Like it was nothing like that.
Yeah, it was, and I loved Final Girl.
Yeah.
Final Girls. I thought it was great. But yeah, they jumped into the movie. That was going into the movie, and she doesn't like save her mom, right? In the movie, she just.
Oh man, yeah, I forget. I thought she did.
I mean, she does in the movie, but she doesn't like come back to real life and her mom's saved from the car accident.
I totally forget the ending. Exactly I don't remember. I thought she did, but I thought she actually did.
No, but this one plays out very much like Back to the Future. It's very. And even like your suspension of disbelief has to be such like if you aren't the type of person that that was just cool with Doc Brown making a time machine out of a DeLorean when you watched it, and we're just like, yeah, totally, let's do this. Then you're not going to be cool with this and the time machine and this. You're going to be like, oh, that's stupid, that didn't make any sense. You've got to suspend your disbelief to have fun.
One was like a crazy scientist adult.
Yes, I get it.
Clearly was older. One's a high school student doing it for a science fair. So
yes, but they lay the foundation that her mother was the crazy Doc Brown.
Yeah.
So that
without
she was
spoiling
using her
things
mother's
too much.
right. But that's kind of where, you know, her mother was the Doc Brown character, would have been the in this scenario. So there still was a viable explanation.
Yeah.
If you are going to get on board with time travel is possible and somebody could do this, somebody could make this machine, and they don't get into it too much about how it's done, just like when with the flux capacitor and everything else.
It needs this and that's it. And we get one of those moments where it needs this,
and that, or else you're stuck forever. And it just does it so well to make it modern, to modernize it, and to ground it in our reality. But then you have to like just have fun with it and embrace the campiness of this girl's building a time machine. Let's go for it. And then it begins. And it's a great ride, man.
So
God,
funny.
there are so many scenes in here. I can't wait till we get to the spoilers to talk about.
I
know. Let's go through our cast, though. Obviously, I'm wearing my shirt because
I just wore mine so it was in the wash because I was like, damn.
The movie's star, it is carried by Kiernan Shipka, who is phenomenal. She's awesome.
She's so good.
Such a great actress.
I can't wait to see her in further stuff.
Chilling Adventures of Sabrina fame, who we all loved, we loved the show. We loved her in it. And she is awesome in this. She plays the character so perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So perfect. She's just a really great actress. And it's the interactions with the other characters, her young mom, her kind of seeing things in herself and her young mom at different scenes, and there's just a lot where, you know, she emotes really well, and you get a lot of acting in her facial expressions, in her emotion. You can you read and feel a lot of that off of her.
Yes.
But she doesn't need as much dialogue to kind of.
And it's kind of like the shock of like the generational trauma. You're like, why don't, like, you know, just from grandmother to mother to daughter, you get very quickly of, you know, how everything in her one timeline happened, you know, which is very cool.
Yeah, and she's able to go from that, which is very heartfelt and very like gets you in the feels, to great comedy. I had no idea like she would be that great at comedy, but she's
very like monotone, just like
well, she's like the straight person, really. She's like she's like the straight person, while the rest of the 80s are
just
ridiculous around her.
And you can think of everything that you shouldn't say nowadays, but it's so comical.
Yeah, it's so great.
She plays, and I can say this in the spoiler-free, she plays Jamie Hughes, and they gave her the name Jamie to nod at Jamie Lee Curtis. That was their reason.
That's awesome.
There's a lot
good trivia.
Yeah.
Good trivia there. I didn't even know that. That's very cool. All right, so Pam.
Olivia Holt.
I
don't know. I didn't really recognize her. Cloak and Dagger, Kicking It.
She was Dagger in the Cloak and Dagger short-lived Marvel series.
Tandy Bowen.
Yeah.
All right.
Cloak and Dagger. Yeah. She was Dagger. Marvel Comics. Cloak and Dagger. She was. That's cool. All right. So.
We got Lachlan Monroe.
Well, yeah, you're going to recognize some of these names here. Lachlan Monroe has been in so many movies. I think he was in the scary movies and stuff too.
Why isn't anything coming up for him? Oh.
Yeah, your laptop is acting up. So, I'll keep us rolling here.
Okay.
Each of these characters, like, so she goes back in time and has the teen versions of many adults, including her parents that she is meeting, and and interacting with.
He was
similar to
Scary Movie, Freddy vs. Jason, White Chicks.
Scary Movie.
Night at the
Yeah. He's done a lot of comedy stuff and horror
Riverdale.
stuff.
Yeah, he's in a ton of
He's
stuff.
veteran guy.
And then the mom, Pam, is played by Julie Bowen, who I know from Modern Family, but she's in a ton of stuff.
Okay. And you also have Randall Park, who plays the sheriff in the 80s. He's the 80s sheriff. You know him from Fresh Off the Boat, and he's been in a bunch of other stuff too. But you know
hilarious.
Randall Park. He's funny.
So funny.
Very funny. There's a lot of great comedy in this. And then also old school horror fans and fans of Friday the 13th might recognize a familiar face in here as well. It took me a minute to place it, but Jonathan Potts plays the adult Chris Dubasage. He was in Jason X, the teacher in Jason X.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's okay. Just wanted his machete.
I know. When you said it to me, I was like, oh, I knew. I could not pinpoint.
It took me a minute. I'm watching it, and I'm like, man, I know him. How do I know him? What's he in? And it took a minute, but then I was like, that's what it is. I remember the machete part. So yeah, good to see him popping back up.
He's also in Ginny and Georgia, which is a show that I watch now. That's probably what I'm thinking of too.
Okay, I don't watch that, so.
It's good. It's very good, actually. A lot of our friends watch it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Nahnatchka Khan is our director, and she does a great job. I was looking at this always, she was a producer on a bunch of stuff, but I know she directed some of Fresh Off the Boat, which explains why Randall Park, obviously, she likes to work with people she knows. Where is it? Where's her directing crew? Her directing credits. She has 7 director credits. Totally Killer, Young Rock, she did 5 episodes. She does a lot of TV. And I read Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. That's where she had first met Kiernan Shipka.
Oh.
Because Kiernan Shipka had worked on that. That was a series in 2013. And they always said they wanted to work again together. So she only directed a few things since then, but then came back to do this. But yeah, Fresh Off the Boat, she did a couple episodes. Always Be My Maybe. The Ali Wong special, Young Rock, she did a bunch of those episodes, and now this one. So she's in pre-production on White Girl Problems.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's probably a comedy, right?
I would
It's
suspect.
gotta be.
I would suspect, but man.
I might have to see that.
I'm sure it'll be good. I just think
if it's got this humor.
Could you imagine though if like if a white person directed like Brown Girl Problems, how problematic that would be?
Do this?
I'm just saying that would be super problematic.
It would.
Oh, we'll have to see what this White Girl Problems is about. I thought we were not supposed to do that anymore.
Well, I think it well.
Yeah, no comment. Sure. Moving on. Moving on.
Sure, we would.
Nahnatchka Khan does a great job directing in this one. So, yes, I'm on board.
So on board.
The cast does great. Lots of comedy, lots of funny stuff. There's not a lot more we can say without getting into spoilers. So,
yeah.
Do we give our recommendation?
I mean, definitely watch this.
This gets one of my highest recommendations. I mean, if you enjoy horror comedies, if you enjoy slashers, if you grew up in the 80s and just want to have a fun, nostalgic trip back to when people weren't so butthurt about everything.
And you can find the humor in that too.
You'll have fun with this one.
Yeah, but it's like you said, like slasher, but even the kills are really good.
The kills are good,
And the fight scenes and stuff.
The stunts in this were excellent.
Yeah,
I will say that.
It's not cheesy slasher, even though it's a comedy. It's got its moments of suspense.
It's definitely, there's a lot of high tension, and it gets started very quick. And there's not a whole lot of build up, hey, let's do all this. It was just like, boom, here we go. And I'm just like, wow, okay, we're fucking rolling.
I know, I was surprised.
And it just keeps going, man. And it just, and if it's not, there was a great balance of high tension slasher with comedy, social satire thrown in, and then some good heartfelt moments as well.
Yeah.
And they managed to perfectly balance each so that you never get bored with any of them.
No.
And you're on the edge of your seat with the you go from being on the edge of your seat with the slasher stuff to laughing hysterically to then like, you know, welling up, feeling bad about, you know,
and
like
they do a good
bonding
job.
moment.
Yeah, about like even certain characters, you don't like them when they're first introduced. And you're like, oh no, and then you eventually like them.
Yeah.
You see their growth, and you're like, oh, okay, all right, you can.
Oh, Randy. Oh man, but yeah. I mean, this one hits on all cylinders. I felt like, and you know, it's not perfect. It's definitely not a perfect movie. Whenever you have a time travel movie, there's always going to be some issues. You're always going to have some plot holes or something. You just got to go with it, man.
Yeah,
and this one, I just had a blast. I had a blast with it, and
we were crying watching it.
Yeah,
like,
and I've watched it 2.5 times now. I think. And I'll watch it again in a second.
I know, I would too.
This good.
Yeah.
So
rewatchability is how I say a movie is good or not. Yeah. And I would absolutely rewatch this.
Yeah. So definitely check out Totally Killer, streaming now on Amazon Prime. And if you don't have Amazon Prime, I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere sooner or later. Rated R, 146-minute runtime that to me moved pretty quick, man.
Yeah.
Felt like a regular 90-minute movie to me. That means they did a good job and not making anything drag, and the pacing was really good.
So, and it didn't cost anything.
No, I know. You didn't have to rent it. It's free if you have Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out. Totally Killer. And that's going to do it for our first takes. Which brings us to breaking out the shovel, Steph Infection.
All right.
Can you pass me a shovel?
Okay.
Did you just hit me in the face with the shovel, Steph Infection?
Yes.
Dig deeper, man.
Sorry.
This is the part of the show where we have spoilers and dig it deeper!
Wait a minute.
Gotcha. Got her. I get her every time. This is Digging Deeper, folks. We break out the shovels and dig in. Spoiler time. If you haven't watched Totally Killer on Amazon Prime and you're going to watch it and you don't want to be spoiled, pause it. Go watch the movie. Come back afterwards. See if you agree, disagree on our with our takes on everything.
And Ronan's going to be in that ditch in a second.
I'm going to be in the ditch. So, I don't know what ditch we're talking about. Oh, the ditch that we just... Oh, the ditch I dug, yes. From Digging Deeper. It's a good thing I dug a deep ditch, Steph Infection. Woo! All right. Let's do this! Do we have a... oh, yeah. So, it starts off with the murders, right? Does it start off with the girls being killed?
It starts off with
it starts
Jamie
off with
in her room, and her mom comes in. She's like, "I'm going out with blah blah," you know, her friends, and she's like, "No, you can't. What do you mean you're going out?
Your dad's concert. Yeah, to
Your
go see
dad's
the
gonna
metal
drop
guy.
you off."
Because the dude's metal as fuck.
And he's on the. But that's the funny part, because he's giving the middle finger, and she's like, "Why is he giving the middle finger?" And she's like, "He's giving it like, what did she say? Single-use plastic."
Yeah. We get right away that Jamie is very modern, woke, PC, conscious, environmentally conscious.
Not that it's a bad thing. It's just she's on the extreme side. It's just funny.
No. It's and again, nothing wrong with any of this. This is the way the world is these days, and we are totally in favor of it. But it's just funny when we jump back to the '80s to see
how,
wow,
it was not the same.
Yeah. That's how, and she just points it out. And, you know, she's just like, but she's great about pointing it out too, because you would have so many movies with like heavy-handedness, and they do. There's so many movies that do it heavy-handed, and they beat you over this is bad, toxic masculinity, bad, down with the patriarchy, bad, constantly getting browbeaten with that.
It wasn't.
Can get a bit So
I did not get at any point that they were trying to push any type of side. It was like just satire.
It was great because she would just be like, yeah, that's problematic, but let's move on.
Yeah.
She would just say it totally straight. That was like, that's why it was so funny. She would just point it out how like, wow, that's fucked up.
Yeah, you shouldn't be saying that.
We're gonna keep going.
Yeah, so and we'll get to like that. But she goes downstairs and she's like, you know, she gets into a fight with her mom. 35 years ago, your friends got murdered. Now I can't have fun. And then she says, "You taught me self-defense. I have mace. I have the rape button." So we know.
Rape whistle.
No, it was a button.
Oh, the rape
remember?
button. Yeah, the rape button. Oh my God.
So I was like,
oh my God, the rape
yeah,
button.
that was a great.
We can't even talk about this stuff without cracking up. This movie was so fucking funny.
So we get that she has all these things, and then we know the background.
Right.
So her dad leaves.
Oh, but don't forget, her dad's like, he has the shirt with the muscles, and he's like, I used to be pretty buff in the day.
I'm Zac Efron.
yeah.
I used to be pretty buff back in the day, yeah.
Whatever, Dad.
And we get the mom's like, I'm Molly Ringwald. So, she's always Molly Ringwald, which we get eventually.
No, they weren't Molly. She said, why are you dressed as Molly Ringwald? And she's like, no, we're not dressed yet. We're going
That was at the end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, in the beginning, she was Molly Ringwald.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And he was Zac Efron. Which, whatever, we can jump around a little bit. When they do go back, they're all dressed as Molly Ringwald.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. So that's the, we find out.
Well, we get our first fight scene here because they leave, and then she goes, the mom's giving out candy.
Well, yeah, because so Jamie and her friend go to the concert. Her mom stays at home. She's giving out candy, and well, we also hear about this note, right?
Yeah.
We get the note then too.
No.
Wait. First, she's she gets killed first before we find out about it.
Yeah.
The note comes after.
But
So the killer attacks, and this is like at the beginning of the movie, like at the very beginning, and it was very Scream-esque.
Yes.
Because there's just a ring at the doorbell, and there's just the mask. You see the mask at the door, and the mask was like a culmination of a bunch of '80s. When they sculpted the mask, a bunch of '80s heartthrobs, they said.
Oh, really?
Like Rob Lowe and Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and
they created
Val Kilmer. Yeah. But they wanted the mouth to be like cartoonish. They even said a little Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. Johnny Bravo inspired slasher mask.
With the earring and stuff. Yeah. So it comes to the door, and she opens the door, and it just...
Yeah.
You know, she's like, I'm not in the mood, and the killer shows the knife. And I was like, oh, that's what Scream, you know, just like Ghostface would do. Yep.
And he, it's very much like a Scream kill, and he enters, kicks his way in, right? She tries to fight him out.
Oh, yeah, they're fighting.
But she backs in, and she's like, oh, I haven't spent the last 17 years... Or she said, you motherfucker. She says something along the lines, I spent the last 17 years preparing for this. She like bumps the, like a fake shelf.
Oh, yeah.
And out drops a gun and shit.
And then she goes and she calls the police, and then she even gets thrown on that like table.
Yeah, the stunts here were great. He throws her through the table.
She looks to her side, and underneath there's a thing of mace. Like, she had things hidden all over.
Yeah, she was prepped. She was like a doomsday prepper for slashers.
Yeah, so that's why I thought it was cool, because usually you get these people who aren't prepared, and she fought for her life. Yeah. You know? And
it reminded me of like the Jamie Lee Curtis that would be, you know, still, you know, in the modern Halloweens. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
The very much like that.
Can't see. Yeah. Well.
Prepped. Has her daughter prepped and ready for it. Like has been training her now. Like especially because they never caught the motherfucker. He disappeared.
I see it as Sydney in Scream, because she really learned how to fight. This was like her house in Scream. Like.
Yeah, but Sydney never had the daughter. That's why I get the the comparison to Halloween, the modern Halloweens, because we're picking up with the daughter and the granddaughter actually in the modern Halloween. So it's like a generational thing that's being passed down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a similar thing here. The mother is prepped for it. We see the mother can handle herself, and she does a great job handling herself. For a bit.
And I'll tell you what, she is...
When that camera rotated around, once she got him out of there, she's like, the cops are on their way, and he fucking walked out.
And he comes.
Well, they rotated the camera, Steadicam rotate around. And we see that the back door is right behind her, and I'm just like, oh man! And I just had a feeling, and all of a sudden he just bum rushes her through the back door and picks her up and slams her on the fucking counter. And I was like,
and he gets her back leg and then starts stabbing her. And I'll tell you what, I don't think I've ever seen a movie with a more believable, like, stab scene with the actress, with the actor.
Yeah, the sounds she was making, the screams and stuff when she was being...
I was like, this is the most believable kill I've ever seen in my life, getting stabbed.
She was great. I will say that sometimes you could tell that it was digital blood popping up on the sides when he was doing some of the repeated stabs, but the acting was awesome on it. The kills were quite good.
A lot of times you have, like, actresses or actors like yelling too much or not enough, or they die too quickly, and it's like, no, she was struggling, and it was so believable.
Yep.
So believable.
So then we find out about the Chris Dubasage meets with Jamie and tells her about the note. Your mother got this note, and she never told anybody.
Yeah.
And then the next night, Jamie and her friend were going out, and and that's when the killer jumps out to get Jamie.
Yeah.
And chases her. She hides in the time machine, and he stabs the time machine, and that was the missing catalyst that her friend needed. That was the missing part. It was another metal conductor.
Yeah.
But we also established earlier when we get because before this, we get the time machine described to us. And the girl who's building the time machine, we find out, her mother was into all this stuff and was a scientist that was, like, failed, and now she's, like, a crazy chick, right? She's kind of like withdrawn and kind of like out of it. She's like a disgraced scientist or something, like, with failed experiments.
They say it a couple times, you're as crazy as your mom.
Right. So she's used this technology and she's built the whole thing, but she just can't get something. There's one thing missing, and but the whole thing works off GPS. That's how you have to have GPS to get back to
Wi-Fi.
Why?
She says Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to have Wi-Fi to get back to pinpoint yourself, which doesn't really make sense anyway if you're
at the end
time traveling, because if you travel to a time where there's no GPS and no Wi-Fi, you're fucked.
Well, that's why she has to use at the end, the camera, camera crew that are actually sending signals back and forth, because they were the only ones that really could do anything like that.
So at any rate, Jamie jumps back to 1987.
Yes, 1987, and she opens it, and it's just immediately the carnival. I was like, I feel like I'm in the
80s. The music, I knew all the words. Every song play, I was like, man, I know all these songs. Fuck, I'm old.
We were dancing.
So she realizes, she talks to a couple people and realizes that it's 87, and she has an opportunity to stop the killing spree.
Yeah, and even in that moment, there were so many funny interactions. And what did the guy's one shirt say? Like, I'm a boob.
Oh, federal booby inspector.
And she's like,
that shirt is problematic. Oh, that shirt's so problematic. And the girl's like, I like your shirt. Federal booby inspector. Is that FBI? Federal booby inspector.
I need that shirt.
You get hit with that right off the bat. And again, that's problematic.
And the mom's smoking in the car with her kids.
Oh my God, yes. But that's the thing. She asked this mom who's just smoking, and she's like, what year is it? Oh, 1987, honey. I haven't even tried Coke yet. And she looks at her kids. She's like, oh, they don't know. And then he's like,
can you give me a ride?
She's like, well, I need to find Pam. And okay.
She goes, do you want me to give you a ride?
Give you a ride. She's like, you're a stranger. So you could be a serial killer. Come on, honey. Would a serial killer be wearing Gloria Vanderbilt?
Yes, that was so great.
And then they pull up to the school and gets out of the car, which is filled with smoke from cigarette smoke, with the kids in the back seat, of course, because in the 80s it was totally cool to smoke cigarettes in the car and smoke out the fucking kids. Nobody gave a shit about cigarette smoke and the kids in the back of the car.
That's why we all have issues now.
So I have asthma and all that other shit right now. So yeah, then she gets to the school. She goes in and she's like, "Hey, I'm an exchange." She just walks in and says, "I'm an exchange student from Canada." She's like, okay, "Do you need any kind of like verification? What are you talking about?
Is this Fort Knox?"
Yeah, what is this, Fort Knox? Here's your schedule. You got gym now.
She's like, "Oh," and she's like, "Well, is there another option? I don't really do gym." And she's just staring at her. There were no choices back then. You just did what you were told.
So but it was great. There's no like looking up, no verification. Just told her she was in high school and then she was transfer student. She's like, "Okay, here you go."
And throughout the entire movie, there's so many times where she's like trying to just like lie her way into somewhere.
She's thinking that it's going to be tough to get into something.
All right,
or to
go.
do
And
something.
she's like, at one point, she's
Security.
like, "TSA would be probably wild right now."
She's like, "It must be crazy flying right now."
Oh, so funny.
So, but then, so she goes to gym, and we get probably one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a horror comedy. First, she walks into gym, and she's got the outfit on that you'll see in the trailer with the short shorts, and she's like, "What is this?"
We work at Hooters?
We work at Hooters?
Because all the girls' butt cheeks are out.
Every girl had the tiny little Hooter shorts on. Everybody actually did, I guess. But it was
guys did too back then too.
But it was, oh my God, hilarious. And then they're playing dodgeball. Then we get the fucking the gym teacher, and she's just ruthless.
I know.
Like, you can't even say this stuff. You get fired, you get canceled. She's like, hey. Oh my
Basically,
God.
like calling some kids wussies and in her own way, but funnier.
Yeah.
I don't even know what she was saying, but I was dying.
I forget some of the quotes too.
Oh my God, so funny.
But yeah, they start playing dodgeball, and
if any of you that are watching actually realize, like, you can't play dodgeball anymore in school.
Right.
Like, it's not allowed.
This 17-year-old character, dodgeball has been banned since before her time. She has no idea what's coming. She has no idea.
And this was beautiful because we've all had one of those balls whack us in the face before, and your hearing goes. And you're like,
they did a great job with the sound, and she's just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It's just
I love that they let her drop the F-bomb too, man. That was so, because a lot of times you're like, I'd be cursing. I'm driving. Like, she dropped quite a few F-bombs, and I love that they let her do it.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" It was like war going on. Kids getting bodied, shots.
Get down, get down.
And then she's like, I need to find Pam. And then, then she's like, are you kidding me? She said, the Wicked Witch of the East or some shit.
Yeah.
She's like, she's right there. And the one girl uncovers.
Well, there's people flying, like
bodies everywhere.
Passing each other, and out comes the mom right
Pam
in the
with
middle.
the big woofy hair,
Yeah.
the big 80s. Big, I can't even say the term that we used to say for it. It was because it's
A swoop, a Farrah Fawcett?
well, no, girls with that hair were called something.
Flock of Eagles?
No, it's a racial slur.
it's
What they
flock
put
of
a W
seagulls.
in front of.
Oh.
That's what they used to call them in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It later got adopted. Yeah. It's a whole nother thing. But anyway.
Well, is that because it looks like a wig?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's not
I know.
terrible.
I guess.
That's not terrible.
Yeah. Well, at any rate.
Not saying it, though.
It eventually became something else. They eventually changed it to mean something else.
I get it, but
And now
I think,
it's like offensive. So we don't say that anymore.
Just sounds, it's just too close. It's too close for comfort.
Domers, they used to call them too.
Oh, yeah,
Domers, because it was like a big dome. She had the big dome hair.
Yeah.
So that was another term for it, domer.
I want to bring that style back.
Please don't.
Yeah.
So much hairspray. So anyway, they get our first look at Pam, and Jamie sees her mom for the first time, and her mom just beans the shit out of her right in the face.
Right in the face.
And says, "You're out, bitch."
Oh my God.
And up until this point,
Oh my God.
Jamie has had the picture of her mother being this super
Sweet,
overprotective,
yes.
sweet, nice, homemaker, like the
Yeah.
nicest,
Yeah.
you know, like super polite. And now all of a sudden, all of that with one whomping of a dodgeball in
my
the face
God.
is shattered. And it's so funny.
It's so,
fucking
you can just see
hilarious.
everything.
And then she
She's
hits
like,
her again, and she's like, "Get off the court, loser!"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Wait a minute, what?" And she's just so dumbfounded by it.
Yeah.
And she whomps her a third time, and
Yeah.
then she gets she cut back. She has the bloody nose.
oh my God, so funny. So funny. That whole scene was just, it was
hilarious.
orchestrated beautifully.
Shot great.
Even with the sound.
Edited perfect. The sound, everything. Yeah, the sound effects.
I could feel getting hit by, I have
dude, I've been in
nightmares.
so many of those dodgeball
Oh my
fights.
God, I used to hide
man.
behind people because I was
Bing.
little. I was little.
And the sounds of the ball hitting, like ding.
And we were allowed to
Those
play
fucking
with
sounds.
boys. It was boys and girls.
Oh, yeah. You
What-
just whomped the shit out of each other. It didn't matter. I was in
Why?
public school. We were fucking wailing.
I was at Catholic school and they still let us do it. The nuns were probably like giggling in the corner.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
God.
All right. So then after that.
So she runs up and she starts talking to them and trying to introduce
Oh
herself.
God, yeah. She's just totally lame too.
I don't
They
even.
just hate her. She like comes off as a narc, like pushing her away. Like she's like she's trying to stop the party. That's what the thing is. The girl gets killed at the party.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like, I got to stop the party. You guys shouldn't have that party. She keeps saying lame shit like, it'd be great. The cops were at the party. Who's calling the police?
We have a girls. Oh yeah, I thought we have a girls.
No, the
night.
party's the first one.
Oh, okay.
That was before the girls' night. That was
Okay.
before the girls' night, because first they have the party.
Yeah.
So first she's trying to have the party.
I thought she was saying, oh, you know what we should do instead? Like some women bonding or something like that. Doesn't she say? She says something like that, like friend bonding, where we watch each other.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, she realizes they were all bullies, that they were the Mollies. That's when we find out the Mollies,
Yeah.
and they're bullies. And
Which
they
is
bully her, and they don't want her. They're not going to let her in the group.
Which is a nod at the Heathers.
Right. So, yes, and your mean girls and et ceteras.
Yeah.
So, and she even says at one point, she's like, this mean girl thing isn't working.
Yeah.
You know, this is not cool. Like, the
Yeah.
mean girl shtick's not cool. Like,
And they say
and they're just
something
like,
just-
whatever.
Yeah,
They totally
something
shut her down.
terrible back.
But she finds her best friend's mom.
Yes.
That's where she goes.
And it's funny because she keeps asking, she runs to the cops first and she's like, did you guys see Back to the Future? This exchange with the cops.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
No, I didn't see it, but I heard it's good. Yeah. She tries to tell I'm from the future, and there's going to be a murder, and it didn't. She's like,
They're like, there's never been a murder here ever. And
the crime hasn't committed yet. And well, there will definitely be underage drinking, so you should go to this party tonight, and and that's a crime, so you should go. And they're just like, yeah, I'm going to go see Back to the Future.
yeah.
That's Randall Park. He's the sheriff, and
Yeah.
it's a funny scene. But then that's when she goes and she finds what's her mother's name?
Pam.
No.
Oh.
Her best friend's mother.
I forget. Danielle or something?
Lauren.
Lauren. Okay. So she goes to
her
class.
Mom, Lauren. The Lauren's the mom.
Okay.
Who goes to the class and finds Lauren. She's like, oh, you look great. Because she
Yeah.
she looks like a crackhead when you're
Yeah.
She's like she has the, and she's like young
Amelia's
and super.
the daughter.
Yeah, Amelia's the daughter, Lauren's the mom. So
Yeah.
there should be like teen Lauren.
Oh.
Yeah, adult Lauren.
Well, I don't
can
know
be
where
Huey.
Teen Lauren is. She's not listed.
Yeah. So she's working on. She goes to her and tells her like,
She's
I'm
like,
from
have
the
you
future.
seen Back to the
da-da-da."
Future? And she's like, yeah, of course I do.
She's like,
And she just tells
She tells
her.
her the future. She's supposed to, and Lauren just like accepts it. And she's like, you're taking this awful well. And she's like, well.
When you think of the concept of time travel, you
And you're
and you're really going to put it into motion, you kind of
plan
for
this.
something like this to possibly happen.
To possibly happen.
Yeah.
She's like, which makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
if you're the person that's making the time machine, then you better prepare. If it works, somebody might come back to you, and
Yeah.
you might, so it makes sense. I was like, that's clever. That's
Yeah,
good. That's good.
Yeah, and there was a couple little spots, where she shows her the actual time machine and tells her, the knife how it got stabbed and
When
created.
she sends that note in the picture.
Yes.
Where it says, and they think it's a rune. It's a J.
That comes at the second.
Oh, yeah,
that
later.
comes later. But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. We're not going to go through it scene by scene, but
No.
at any rate, it's funny, Lauren just buys into it.
Yeah.
Into the whole concept, and they just go from there. So Lauren's going to go work on the time machine, on getting it, to work, and they come up with the plan for that.
And Jamie's
gonna
looking after.
Right, try and stop the murders. So the first murder is the Tiffany party. They go to the Tiffany's party, and that's where we meet Randy.
Oh, God. And he's at the door. And he's like, what, the gym teacher or like the coach in the future?
He's the coach in the future's
Yeah.
son. Oh, no, he's the coach in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, so we
he's
get
the
like
future
this.
in the future.
So the one girl that comes out, she's the
She's the
sheriff's
The sheriff's
daughter.
daughter is now the sheriff in the future.
Yeah. Which, that's what, before when we see the cops, that was my favorite part because she was like, the sheriff, and she says her name to the dad, and the fellow cop goes, "Oh, her nickname in high school is Sheriff. That's sweet."
Yeah.
Oh God, so funny.
Yeah, that's another one. All right, so Tiffany is our first one, and Tiffany having the party. So they try to go to the party, and Randy, the dude was hilarious. Now Jeremy Munn. Jasnar, it looks like. Now I would. He's an African American guy, African American actor. I would expect this type of dude to totally be played by like the white Chad type.
Yeah.
But
he was still
But he was
muscled.
great. Yeah. But this guy was great in it. And yeah, it totally makes sense too. But I totally would have seen like the Chad more. More being this.
D-baggish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even like the black dudes who were jocks in high school that I knew were still kind of cool. They weren't like that ultimate.
You can't
like
make
this
that
is like the
blank
ultimate
statement.
Chad. No,
Yeah,
I know. But they, like the ultimate Chad. He's like the ultimate Chad. And
He
that
is,
to me
yeah.
is like the fucking.
I know.
The blonde-haired quarterback who's just like, woo, go,
Yeah.
all fucking day.
I know. And he's like grabbing himself at
Yeah.
points and
Some of his lines were great though.
something with the union. What did he
He's like, I got something for the environment. Environment this, or I'll sign this. Petition this.
like everything was him grabbing. Oh, so funny.
But yeah. So he's right off the bat. So our teen Doug, who's the principal in the future. He's like the nerdy guy. He's trying to get in the party, and he's like, "No, nerd, Dungeons and Dungeons is down the block." There's like all this nerd shaming going on.
He's like, "What is this? What is around your neck?" And
Yeah, what's this nerd jewelry? And then the sheriff, the sheriff's daughter shows up, and she joins in. She's just like, "Yeah, nerd." And then and then we get again super woke. Jamie runs up. She's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she runs up and is like stopping the bullying. She's like, "What are you doing?"
And then he just pushes her away. I want to touch.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. And she's like yelling at them like they're gonna. And he just keeps bullying both of them. And he's just like, "Whatever, bro."
The fact that the guy just keeps messing with her too, like our Randy character, like he doesn't care.
Oh, it's great. And then she keeps finding her way into the party, and then she keeps trying to say different shit, and they keep it like, "Randy." Somebody just comes and picks her up. "Let's go, nerd." And throwing her out again. Oh my God.
Oh my God, it was so funny. Yeah, but so we get our first kill of one of the Mollies upstairs, and this was so funny.
This was hilarious.
Yeah. She's with, so what's her name?
So who's it? Tiffany is with the dad.
Yes.
With the young dad. Is with the teen dad. Was it Doug? Is her dad's name Doug?
Blake.
So she's Teen Blake.
Teen Blake, who? That was a funny moment where she sees him getting out of the pool, and she's like staring.
Oh my
at
God!
him.
Yes, that was. Yeah, she shows up. She does get into the party, and she's like, "Who is that?"
And then Lauren goes, Oh, Blake said something.
Blake Hughes? Oh, Blake Hughes?
And she's like, ah!
It was her dad. And it flashes to the... That was so great because it flashes to the future of him in the shirt. And then the close-up of him being like... this goofy dad face, and she's just like, ew!
Oh, it's
just
so
played so
funny.
fucking well. So that happens.
Yeah, that was funny. And then, anyway, so Tiffany breaks up with him, I guess, at
well,
some
then
point.
she turns around to see him kissing Tiffany, and she's like, ew!
Yeah.
And then, so later in the party, we see Tiffany running away, Blake walking away, and Tiffany comes out crying, and she's like, what happened? What happened? She stops Tiffany, what happened? Oh, well, somebody told Blake that I was kissing so-and-so, and she's like, well, were you kissing so-and-so? Yeah, but, you know.
And she says the name, and whatever that band's name, like, it was like...
Oh, yeah.
She goes,
It was the
oh,
guy from so-and-so.
The singer of something Threat? I don't know.
That's right,
Like,
yeah, the singer of something. She's like, wait, you've heard of them in Canada? Is he like a rock star? Is he famous? Wait, where is he? She goes running off to find the rock star guy again.
And then they're in a waterbed,
Oh,
Tiffany
God,
and the
yes.
rock star guy. And I am laughing because if you are anywhere
Waterbed.
around our age...
80s and the waterbeds, fucking,
Even
oh my God.
90s, they were like huge too.
Yeah.
Like, why did anyone think a waterbed was a good idea or a romantic choice?
No.
So you see how uncomfortable
Oh, it
they
was
are.
so bad.
But she gets up at one point, and I have to just say this line because it comes up later. It's just so funny. But she's talking about what the beer, like too many BJs.
Bartles and James.
Oh.
Bartles and James, because
Okay.
they had Bartles and James wine coolers in the
wine
80s.
coolers, yeah.
So they called them BJs.
And he says something, and she goes, "Oh, what? Oh no, I don't do that. You pee out of that thing."
No, he said, hopefully you have room for one more BJ
Oh, yeah,
here.
that's
right
right.
And she says, ew, gross, you pee out of that thing. And she goes and
then he's
like, oh, well, fuck this. And he gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
And so she comes back and he's not there. She's like, where are you? And she hears something in the closet.
She thinks he's in the closet. It's
Yeah.
not him. She sits and waits. The killer comes out.
Yep.
And this was a cool, obviously she gets stabbed to death. And
Well, while this is going on, Jamie is like,
because she was
where's the
supposed-
garage? Because
Yeah.
she dies in the garage in Jamie's timeline. She dies in the garage. So, she's running around all over
and
for the garage, and she's not in there. And
she went in. She's like, what are you doing here? Tiffany's supposed to be in here. And the guy's like, is there a sign-up sheet?
Is there a schedule?
Is there a schedule?
So,
All like the little freaking humor.
the little
I was like,
one-liners are
oh my
great.
God.
So she finally
She's
runs
like, oh, I
upstairs and-
changed it. I changed. Yeah, she runs up.
But it's funny. He's like stabbing her, and the water bed is springing leaks, and she's springing leaks, and there's blood.
He
and
said water again.
Oh my God, the water bed is springing leaks, and so
Yeah, that was actually a good little death scene.
yeah.
And Jamie gets in right after, and
He
they
jumps
all
out the
see.
window,
Yeah.
and the mom Pam sees it, and she's freaked out, screams, and she kind of snaps there. That's probably where she was influenced to start taking up the self-defense, and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
because she kind of starts, because she's just right on board with it too. Then, well, I love that. This is when Jamie tells her that she's psychic instead of from the future. She's like, I am, and Lauren is like, remember, she's about to tell her mom, Pam, about it, and she looks at Lauren, and Lauren's like, and she's like, I am psychic.
Yeah.
I saw this, and then she's like,
Pam, I think the moment where she actually.
and Pam totally believes it too, because in the 80s, motherfuckers are just like,
Oh yeah,
psychics.
they're calling all the
calling
hotlines.
psychic hotlines.
Yeah, I used to get in trouble calling those hotlines. There would be a big charge, and my father would come in and be like, "What is
Who the fuck
this?"
was calling Madame Oliver?
I'm like, "What? She told me about my future. It's important." But I think the moment before all this happened that we see that Pam actually starts, like, she's intrigued by Jamie more instead of being dismissive, is when Randy goes to pick her up for like a third time to bring her outside. And she just whips him around and
puts him in an armbar and
yeah.
slams him on the table.
And she's like, "Oh, my mom
How'd
taught
you do that?"
Yeah.
And she says, "My mom taught me self-defense."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's when she.
So it's kind of, she's like, what's
she was
going on?
impressed with that. She was very impressed with that, because that wasn't a. you know.
Nobody, oh my God, women didn't know.
I mean, they did, but it wasn't as
No,
common. And
nowhere
it wasn't
near as
something that
common.
you know.
It wasn't as accepted, I think.
So yeah, that murder takes place. We get the whole okay, she just can like see the future, so they kind of keep that to themselves, and then.
Well, she says it's going to happen in like a cabin in the woods, and they're like, "Well, we're going for I don't know another one of their birthdays, I guess."
Well, she uses that trauma to bond with Pam too.
Yeah.
That's like a big thing. Like
Yeah.
that moment, that whole thing, is when she finally gets in the group. So she gets her way in there, and then that's when she decides she convinces them not to go for the weekend.
To the cabin in the woods.
And
They're like, we're going to a condo.
Yeah. She's like, we go to my parents' condo. Yeah, the condo will be fun. Yeah, we just girls in the condo. And she's like,
Falls
yeah.
asleep in the car, and they get out, and she's like, this is a cabin in the woods. And she's like,
No, it's not
a
a condo.
It's not a condo. Oh, did I say the wrong thing? Cottage?
No.
Or
She's like,
something?
maybe I meant timeshare.
Oh, yeah, maybe I'm a timeshare. That was great.
And so yeah, they're at a cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we gotta leave. And a truck comes pulling up, and it's.
She's like, it's a killer.
Yeah, it's the killer, and it's
the
Blake,
guys.
and and Randy, and teen cop. Who I forget her name. But yeah, so the gang's all there. The gang is all there, ready to be murdered.
Yeah.
And so then.
Well, we get them all, and she's like, let's stay inside.
Yeah, you get
and
them
they're all
stay
like,
inside.
let's
They
get...
eat the brownies.
Yeah, let's go in the hot tub.
They eat the weed brownies.
Now they're all messed up, and she's like, I ate
this was
5
hilarious.
of them.
Holy shit, yeah, this was fucking hilarious. As a pot smoker in the 80s and today, I can verify this is facts. So she's like, I ate 5 of this. She's like, wow, you did that. Was like a pound of weed in there, which isn't physically possible to put a pound of weed in a fucking one tray brownie. But it's for the sake of argument, she's like, I still have a little bit of it left if you want to like roll a doob. And she pulls out the bag and hands it to her. And she's like, what is this? Sticks and seeds and brown. What is this?
She like throws it back.
Ew. I have like one gummy that did like this big that's way like 10 times as good as that.
Yeah.
It's like no wonder. That's why her tolerance was so great. Jamie
Yeah.
wasn't fucked up, but it was just such a statement on the state of weed today.
But also, it very quickly showed you in the writing how messed up the other ones are because they start making all these mistakes.
Oh yeah, they're a mess.
Because they're high.
They're a mess.
And she's like totally fine.
So another good one. She's like, oh, we got to get everybody inside because everybody's fucking high. We got to get them all inside.
There's a pizza.
Yeah, so there's pizza inside, and everybody's like, oh, because everybody's like, no, and it's like, there's pizza inside, and everybody's like, oh, pizza, and I'll go in for the pizza.
And Randy locks her out.
Yeah, he locks her out. No pizza for you. If I hang out with your trees, and locks her out. Nerd, yes, he calls her a nerd again. Locks her out, and so then they're like, I don't see any pizza. Oh, she must have hid the pizza. Running around the house looking for hidden pizza.
And Pam's like, I can make us pizza because she
trying to
accidentally slipped that they end up together.
Yes. This was
as
good.
in her psychic moment, but she's like, no, it's not for years later.
So she's trying to delay it.
Yeah.
And they keep getting together. And she's locked out of the house, and Pam's making pizza.
Pizza with
Starts to make
apples.
pizza with
She's
she's got bread and apples and ketchup. How many apples do you want on your pizza?
Now that's something I would have done very high in college.
And then she slices her hand over. Next thing you know, she's bleeding. And the dad's putting bread on it. He's holding it together with 3 pieces of bread. And there's blood everywhere.
Oh my
And she
God.
screams. And so Jamie's like, oh my God, and thinking the killer's in there. But then the killer really is in there. And the one girl's passed out.
Upstairs, and she realizes, oh my gosh, now they're flipped. Like, they're not.
Yeah, since
not
she messed up
killing-
the last death, now they flipped the order, and she's not going to kill Marissa like in the original timeline. This time it's Heather, who is, which completely fucks the timeline up because she kills Heather. But Heather is, well, that fucking fall was gnarly over the staircase.
Oh, yeah.
Woo, man. There's a header over a staircase where she lands back onto because the stair goes down like that and then down like this, so she goes back first onto that landing step, boom, and then tumbles down the steps, and she's fucked up. But kudos, I should check who that fucking stunt. It's a Canadian stunt person because it's shot in Canada, so I won't know them. But kudos to them because that was a gnarly fucking backfall.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Now it might have been a plate shot where they put a pad down and then just fucking. They might have had just a plate shot of the fucking. They could have composited it.
Oh, like was her just there?
Well, they put like she falls into a pad, but then the pad gets composited out.
Yeah.
The pad's green and gets composited out to the stairs, and she hits the fucking stairs. Still, it was a good fall, and it was pretty brutal.
It was very believable.
So that was gnarly, and she gets.
He turns up the
and,
music, So.
Yeah, and the killer's there, and he kills her
16 times. Yeah.
Stabs her 16 times. Yep. So all right. So then we get. Halloween night, the group reconvenes at the amusement park where Lauren's working on turning the, what do they call it?
What?
The
Gravitron?
The Gravitron.
They
call
have
it
a different name,
else. They have a
but
different
it's a
name for it.
Gravitron.
But they're going to turn the Gravitron, they're going to use the Gravitron to make a time machine. Mm-hmm. That is the plan. And, She explains how that if you're in the middle, you're protected. It'll take you to the future. But
if you're on the if you hit the outside, you get.
It'll turn you into dust.
Yeah, explode.
Red dust. Mm-hmm. So let's see.
Well, they realize, okay, there's 2 murders. Now we got to get.
We got
smart with it. So
so they lure the Sweet 16 killer into the haunted. Oh God, this was hilarious. So they're going to use the last girl as bait. This one, oh my God. So Marissa is going to be bait. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, cause you just got to go into the House of Horrors
and give her a random BJ.
Give it just imagine you're going in for a casual beej, just like you do the casual beej. It's just like you've done like a million times before. Just pretend you're going in for a casual beej. And she's just like, oh yeah, just a casual beej.
So she's talking herself into this.
She's walking herself.
Casual beej.
Just casual beej. It's just the way these girls are. It's like, yeah, it's just a BJ.
Like it was nothing.
It's like
it's just no big deal. Just a casual beej.
Just give it. I've done it a million times before. Just give it a casual beej in the House of Horrors.
And when we're watching this scene, I'm like, who would do this in here? It's terrifying.
And they said to her too. They're like, she says like, it's not like you've never done it before. Have people been watching? Well, if they do, I mean, you don't go into the House of Horrors and not expect to see something you don't want to see or something.
And there's all these chairs there with like,
yeah. So Randy, you can obviously see, is sitting in a chair with a mask on.
Yeah.
She passes and she's calling out, Randy, I'm ready to give you a beach. I'm in the kitchen, Randy. Ready to give a beach.
It's so funny.
And the killer follows her in, and they like the whole thing. First the girls are in the stalls, and he opens that, and
there's a good like kick right to her. Or one of them, I don't know, there was a couple.
So there was, So he opens the stall where Jamie is hiding, and she's after her, and Jamie like yells rape whistle or something, rape button.
Oh God, they give Marissa the rape
give Marissa
button.
the rape button.
And they make a joke and say, don't they say something like, hit it before you get killed?
Yeah. Like by the time I hit, I'm gonna be dead or something like that. It's like,
well, guess what? She gets her through.
Well, that's not. But
no?
first they kill the. Remember, because it's the.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so this is when we find out.
Okay. We're talking in code, people, but you all have seen it, hopefully.
Yeah, if you've seen this, I was trying to get to the spoiler yet. But they even say, have you the scream? She's like, there's like, I wonder if there's 2 killers that can scream, and the girl's like, what's scream? And she's like, oh, that's not you haven't seen that yet. It's not out yet or whatever. So, but they reference Scream again. They very blatantly reference the movies that they're influenced by, and the movies that they're riffing on and borrowing from for this one. So they reference that one, and she they kill the one killer. They get the one killer down. They find out, and they pull off the mask. And we see a blatant karate kick at one point and everything. And we're like, oh yeah, because the character says, I take karate. Doug takes karate. Yeah. So we find out it's Doug is the killer as they pull the mask off. And we're like, we're like, well, why? Why would it be Doug though? And they're trying to figure out why it's Doug.
Well, but something that we didn't say before, after the first kill, when they're all kind of joking in the hallway, she's like, why are you guys joking? Somebody just died. And then they bring up this girl. What was her name?
Oh yeah, Fat Trish.
Yeah, and she's like, you can't call her. Who's Fat Trish? You can't actually call her Fat Trish. And then they say, like, you know, they're kind of making fun that she crashed her car.
And she was Lurch's sister.
Sister, yeah. So they first think
he's... They suspect Lurch, but it's not him. It's
no, but, you know, that... Then they make fun of her driving drunk, kind of, which was very like.
Oh yeah, the dude's like, I drive better drunk.
Yeah, and she's like, no, you don't. Yeah. So that was earlier in the movie, but that.
So now at this point, they pull the mask off, and Doug's the killer, and they see his nerd locket, and they're like, what's in the locket? And they look at the locket, and there's a picture of Fat Trish in there, and they're like, oh man, that's why.
They were boyfriend girlfriend. Their braces got stuck together.
On that trip to the blah blah blah, their braces got stuck together.
Yeah. And then it comes out that they actually, the girls, they got her drunk, and
right. They got her drunk, the mean girls, not the mom, but the mean girls.
Well, it comes out not the mom because she's like...
She was fighting with Tiffany at the time.
Yeah, and she's like, I can't believe you murdered somebody. You got her drunk and then sent her away, and I guess she called Doug and she didn't want to leave, but she crashed her car and she died. And
so that comes out,
and she's like, no, I wasn't there. Do you think I would have done that? And she's like, well, I don't know, you know. So now we know. So then she's like, well, why would he leave you a note saying that he would kill you later on in life? And then Marissa with the rape button gets...
Well, a second killer appears.
And then she
slices Marissa's throat. As she's falling, she hits the rape. And she's already dead and fallen, and beep, 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 the fucking rape whistle goes off. That's fucking hilarious.
I know.
Hilarious.
Because it's exactly what she said.
Yeah. She's like, I'll be dead by the time I get hit the button. And she's fucking dead. Oh my God, it was so fucking funny. It's fucking terrible, but it's so funny.
I know, it really was.
So yeah, second killer chases Jamie, killing Chris. Killing Chris's father. So that's another thing that
was
that was hilarious. So then the guys, the reporters, we keep seeing the guy Chris Dubasage, who's like in the future the guy who's like chasing the story.
He's got a podcast, but his father's like gonna get a Pulitzer Prize for like.
So he kills the father along the way.
Well, the thing is they need the broadcast to keep going.
Right.
Because they need to use that signal to actually have Wi-Fi so she can get back to the future.
The car, yeah. So they lure him back to the time machine. They're in there, and she pushes Lauren out. Lauren gets out. It's just her and the killer in there. And that's when we find out who it is. The second killer's Chris. Did we find out?
Yes.
Well, we find out after Pam jumps in.
After Pam, well, no.
No, we find out first that it's Chris.
No, he still has the mask on when he stabs Pam.
Oh, okay.
And then she like opens the door and it goes out. I don't know. I forget if she rips the mask off or not.
No, the door closing takes
because there's a part in this that was a goof that said that there is, in the Notebook later on when they're like showing credits and stuff, the mom says that she wanted to keep tabs on Chris, just in case. But people said that she didn't actually see him and she wouldn't have recognized him as an adult anyway, even if she did. So it was kind of confusing why that happened. But anyway, so then he takes it off, and he starts going after Jamie in the middle.
Right. Right.
So
yeah, they face off in the time machine. The mom jumps in, jumps on his back, gets stabbed, throws the mom out.
Yeah.
Well, they have the whole scene, which was pretty cool too, of the thing spinning and them being pressed against the side, and him standing up and walking on it.
Oh my God! And it was like spinning,
slowly creeping towards the mom as Jamie's trying to get to the center.
Yeah.
And
the camera angles.
That's when she stabs her the one time while she's down there, and then Jamie hits the door open button.
Yeah.
Mom goes flying out.
Yes.
The door shuts, and that's what pulls the mask off, revealing that it's Chris.
Yes.
Or the mom like pulls the mask off as she's flying out, or something like that. Revealing that it's Chris. So the mom was stabbed, so we don't know if the mom lives or dies, really, at that point, which was cool.
And we kind of learned earlier that she's not going to just disappear, even if her parents
even if her parents die, that she wouldn't just disappear, that she just wouldn't have any place to go back to.
So,
So then we got to get this too, because
I know.
Eventually Chris gets splattered
Yeah, he's
against the side. Red mist.
We realized that he just wanted to keep it going because that was the best thing that ever happened to him.
The note was fake.
Yeah.
He murdered Jamie's mom and wrote the note himself in the future. It was him that killed her. It wasn't actually the principal, who was now actually dead because they killed him back in the old timeline.
Yes, but it was, and at one point he says, like, there's like, why'd you kill your dad? And he's like, I would have loved to have grown up without a dad that, he was always...
He didn't care about me, neglected me, blah, blah, blah.
All that stuff.
Baby shit.
So now
the real one is like in a monastery somewhere.
Yeah, at the end.
After witnessing his dad be murdered, he was even more traumatized.
Yeah. So she comes back and she sees her parents and they're together.
She's still alive. Mom's still alive. Yay.
And then Lauren and Amelia come running in because they knew they were waiting for this moment. Now, this is my only question. Why didn't her mother remember her appearance? Like, I mean, that's kind of like Back to the Future where they named Marty after Marty, but they were like, you remind me of somebody. It's like, how do you not know that? That's like the same person. There's a picture of her with you.
Yeah.
Like, there was a picture.
There's pictures of her there.
It's kind of, I mean, it is. You don't want them to remember.
Yeah, you just got to let the ending play out as it is. It's a movie. This is one of those movies where the rest was so good where you're just like, I'm going to forgive some of these little inconsistencies. Because you would totally remember that's your kid. But
I said the same thing in Back to the Future. Maybe that's why they kind of did that. Because I remember him going, why wouldn't you remember that you tried to make out with your son?
Yep. Yep.
You went to prom with him?
You went to prom with your son?
Or the under the sea dance?
Yeah, right. All right, so adult Lauren brings a notebook with all the stuff that's different.
Oh, yeah.
Which was cool because there was a lot of stuff that was different.
Because her parents got together sooner. So
the guy comes walking up and she's like, hey, and he knows her and everything. And she's like, hey. And she's like checking her out. She's like, who's that? It's how she's hoping it's like her boyfriend or something like in this timeline. And it's like, that's your brother.
Your parents got together.
Parents got together earlier than expected, and they had your brother and named him Jamie. And she's like, and then the mom pops out. She's like, "Hey, Colette, can you come and?" And she's like, so But first she's like, why does that keep happening to me with like checking out her relatives?
So funny. So funny.
So. And that's where it kind of ends. She's in this new timeline, and everybody's alive, and Mother Lauren is good and a successful scientist, and that's where it kind of left off at.
Yeah.
So, good movie. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of comedy. Lots of great moments.
We can't even get to all of the comedic things in this movie. It is just chock full of them. So funny.
Yeah. I mean, Blumhouse knocked it out of the park with this one. This is a great horror comedy.
Yeah, and I don't, I go back and forth with Blumhouse movies, so.
That's what Jesse Zito had commented that, like he was we were both kind of surprised by Freaky, how good it was. Like they've done stuff like Freaky and Happy Death Day, which have been like horror comedies that have done well and have been pretty good. This was a great mashup of a couple popular franchises that you love, but it's just done so well. The execution is so well done. It is totally worth watching. So that's it. That's good. That's my final thought. Go fucking watch Totally Killer. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think a lot of, we had some comments, but everyone's kind of saying the same stuff that we did. I think you need to just go watch it. It's hilarious.
Yep.
So many great, funny parts.
Yep. If you noticed any other homages, feel free to comment them. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Shoot us an email at
deadsvillehorrortalk@gmail.com. Subject, mailbag. Yay.
Let us know what you thought of Totally Killer.
Yes.
Give it up for our Sabrina. Here in Shipka, killing it. good to see her back in the genre once again.
Yeah, love her.
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up now. As you hear, the bands are starting to play in the studio next to us. So from here at Deadsville Studios, to all you fiends out there, stay spooky.
Bye, Scream Hearts.